So yeah, let me know where you're calling in from, your connection to LaunchPad, and yeah, just say hi. We'd love to. Hi, Stephanie. Yes, we're all fortunate to work with Christina. She's awesome.
Love Stephanie. She is one of the producers on one of my shows right now.
Great.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Hey, Joyce. Joyce is actually the co-founder of the Makahakama Foundation, and this program wouldn't be possible without her vision and her support and the wonderful funding that her foundation provides. So huge shout out to Joyce for being here today and for everything she's doing to support each of you. Pablo,
Thank you, Joyce.
Thanks,
yeah,
Anu. Happy
yeah.
to be here.
So happy to have you. And
Yeah.
Dalia from Richmond. Pablo, I think Pablo brought Christina to us.
Yeah. Hi, Christina. Nice seeing you again.
You too. Hi, friend.
So,
Hi.
so
I'm gonna put on the
awesome.
chat, friend of Christina.
Yay.
Yeah, definitely. And Ninette, who just finished the program with us. Yay, Ninette, thank you for joining. So happy to have you. And yeah, Pablo, your friend, mentor, so much more. It's awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to get us started because I want to make sure we have take advantage of the full hour together. Again, if you haven't already chimed in the chat and would like to tell us about yourself, where you're calling in from, and your connection to the Launchpad community, I would love to read that after. But for purposes of making the most of our time together, let me jump in. So I am Anu. I am the entrepreneurship director of the Launchpad program, and I was just telling our entrepreneurs here, Christina from Christina Calisi Casting, Kahthryn from Create Me Free, and Gayle from the G's Freeze. That I think this is going to be probably the highlight of my entire week. I've been looking forward to this conversation all week, and there's just nothing like connecting with the entrepreneurs going through our program. And today is all about really digging into the real reality of running a small business in this country today, right? We're going to celebrate the highs, we're going to talk about the lows, and we're going to talk about programs like the Launchpad. And I'd love to have you all share other programs that you're involved with as well that have been helpful to you, because we can't do this alone. Right? It's a hard journey. And many of you entrepreneurs starting off your businesses, following your dreams, it is so hard to get going. And it is necessary and critical that you reach out and get the support you need. We hope we're filling a small gap in the bookkeeping space today and hopefully other areas in the future where we provide you with hands-on, one-on-one guidance with a mentor who is specializing in bookkeeping and who just doesn't come in and just teach a class or a workshop, but actually sits with you for 4 months and helps you set up your books, helps you learn the bookkeeping basics, and hopefully helps you understand your finances, right? So you can walk out of the program feeling more financially confident, and starting to make really important decisions about where your business goes next. So that's what we're about. I'm going to drop some information in our chat for anyone who's interested in the program, and then you're welcome to stay on at the end. I'm happy to stay as long as it takes to answer any questions that you have about the program. But for today and for now, I'm going to turn the spotlight over to our entrepreneurs, have them introduce themselves, and we'll get the conversation started. So what I'd love to hear from each of you, Christina, Kahthryn, and Gayle, and we'll go in that order for this question. Tell us about you. Tell us about your business. And what was that spark or that motivation, that moment that made you say, aha, I'm going to go build this business?
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you to Launchpad, to the foundation, to all of my mentors who kind of did this whole connection. It's a wonderful web that Launchpad is part of in my life, and I know in everyone else's that's here. So hi, I'm Christina Calisi. I am the owner of Christina Calisi Casting. We are a casting company and also a content development company. We mostly work on television shows, but we also do movies, branded content, podcasts, live events, and so mostly real people, but we also do actors, subject matter experts. We book celebrities all the time. if it's a person that needs to tell a story, we're gonna find them. The reason that I started Christina Calisi casting was because of in the entertainment industry right now, as well as I'm sure everybody could raise their hand and agree with me, is there's a lot of consolidation happening within industries. Mine is very public. I'm sure everyone's dealing with that, like I said. And so with the catalyst of my disability and chronic illness and this, time of consolidation within the industry, there just seemed to be this kind of inflection point of a now or never. And so here I am. You're muted.
Thank you so much. And when did you start your business?
2021, the end of 2021, somebody had come to me with a documentary, and I decided there, as it is with these things, it's multifactorial. And it seemed because the writing was on the wall with those other two factors, maybe now is the time.
Amazing. I know so many women and entrepreneurs in general who have that idea, that seed, and would just sit on it, right? And the fact that you took that step and you move forward is everything. And here you are 5 years later, continue to make progress. There's a really interesting statistic out there where one out of two businesses doesn't make it past 5 years.
I believe it.
So the fact that you're past that is incredible, and we want to see you, hit the 10-year, 20-year mark, and hopefully we'll still be having these conversations then.
I'm so grateful to my mentors and to my family who were my first mentors. Not everybody, grows up with that kind of values and just, example in the household. So I find myself being very fortunate and grateful of that. I'm a few steps ahead because of it, and I acknowledge that.
Amazing. Thank you. Kahthryn, how about you?
Sure. Hi, everybody. And thank you, Christina, for your starting us off, and then for LaunchPad for just having me here and having me part of this program. I'm also really grateful. It's been a great experience for me. So I'm Kahthryn Vercillo. My business is called Create Me Free. I There's a long history behind it, but I work at the intersection of art and health. So I do writing and art and workshops and coaching and a variety of services for artists,
Mhm.
mostly artists whose work has been impacted by a health condition. So it's changed their work or limited their work, or they've had to adapt in a certain way. And usually I meet them at the point where they're motivated and aren't sure how to exist in this new situation that find themselves in, or how to keep going in something. Like for me, myself, I have a long history of chronic illness and depression, and I was able to really power through when I was younger, and I hit like my mid 30s, and I just couldn't do it. So I had to revisit what that meant for me, how I could work in a new way that was sustainable for me. And that's what motivates me to bring that to other people. I started as a freelance writer in 2006, and my work is kind of developed from there through all of these different changes, but I incorporated as the Create Me Free business in 2021 also. So been
Wonderful.
really active in that since the past 5 years.
Great. Both post-pandemic companies. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the, businesses that start where you have experienced the problem directly and you understand the pain points of what your potential customers are going to be going through. It's such a powerful intersection, and I think it's wonderful the work you're doing, Kahthryn. Thank you again for being
Thank
here.
you.
Gail, how about you?
Hi, my name is Gayle Hart. Thank you, LaunchPad. You just don't know, just being in a program and connected with Cherie, just gave me the confidence just to just go and understand my numbers. So thank you. But my name is Gail Hart once again. I'm born and raised in San Francisco, the Fillmore area. And in that district, it was a lot of Black businesses thriving, Harlem of the West. Just seeing just Black entrepreneurs growing. I'm the youngest of 18. So my dad was an entrepreneur. My mom, she cooked. So culinary it's in my blood. And so I started the G's Freeze, which is a mobile catering dessert truck. I do creative flavor, virgin daiquiris. I make my waffle cones from scratch. So you'll get a signature cone like the peach cobbler, strawberry shortcake. I do German chocolate cake cones. I just do creative flavors. So each time you come, you'll get something different. But I started in 2019 um, after working with a nonprofit agency called Booker T. Washington Community Service Center. So I always was connected with the community. And there was an ice cream store called Miyako's. And I went in that store and I had bubble gum and coffee was my ice cream to go to. So I used to do little jobs to get money and go in that store when I was like 7, 8 years old. And I always wanted the ice cream shop. So I started after driving for SFMTA Muni for 11 years. I used to drive and say, "This is not my destiny." And then I launched. I just did it. I just was tired of getting abused by the public. And so, yes, I started the G's Freeze, and I also wanted the business where I could teach youth entrepreneurship. There's many challenges in our community where a lot of kids don't get hands-on services to just build self-sufficient, um, in this society now. So I wanted to have a business where I could show my creativity and have a connection with the community. And it's been a great ride. It's been a great ride.
Thank you, Gail. And for those of you who are in the San Francisco area or might be visiting, Gail's food ice cream truck is parked in Golden Gate Park Thursday through Sunday by the
Friday through Sunday.
Friday through Sunday, sorry. And it's by the Conservatory of Flowers. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Um, so check it out when you're next in the area. I'm looking forward to my treat when I'm up there next.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for not just following your dream and pushing through that resistance, but then also, oh my gosh, inspiring and helping youth entrepreneurs. That's incredible. That's a whole other conversation that
Yeah.
we'll have someday. But that's incredible, Gail. Thank you. All righty. So next thing I'd like to sort of focus on is just fast forward. So you've each been in business for 5 to 6 years, um, but you went through the Launchpad program this year, right? Each of you have gone through the program this year. So what was happening in your business when you saw Launchpad pop up in your email, or maybe it was a conversation with your coach? What was going on that made you say, wow, this is a program that looks interesting to me and I want to check it out? Like, take us into your business and what was happening then. And Kahthryn, I'll start with you.
Sure. So I I had been doing this work since 2021, all in the same area, but in the last year, I really refined what I was offering. I started doing a lot more of the workshops and one-to-one coaching stuff that I hadn't been doing as much of before. And I kept refining how I wanted to do that, doing some beta testing, figuring it all out. And about a year before I applied, I made the conscious decision to go into debt so that I could focus on revisioning everything.
Mhm.
So I had gone into a bunch of debt. Some of it was very intentional with business loans, and some of it kind of slipped through in credit cards. And what had happened was I ended up having all of this money spread out across all these accounts. My income was also, it was in Venmo and it was in Zelle and it was in whatever people would pay me in and it was in my business account. So I had all these accounts and everything was being paid on time, but it was very overwhelming. Um, I had done various like workshops one-on group stuff in the past with finances, and some of it was helpful, but a lot of it just didn't apply to me and my specific business. So when I saw the chance to work with a mentor that was like could actually just talk to me about what's really true for me, I had absolutely had to jump on it. And I came to it because so in around 2021, I was part of the Renaissance Entrepreneurship program here that helped me do some business planning and jumpstart some stuff. It was a several month long program, and they have a lot of other places they're connected to. Is I think the word Christina used was like the web of that we're all in of connected things. They connected me with Working Solutions, which was a lending program with a mentor there who helped me get a loan. And that was part of my getting the loan, business loan. And then they connected me with this program. So it's been just like a developing
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And yeah, that village is so important. And, sometimes we're weaving it together, sometimes it just shows up, by serendipity. But I think just putting that out in the world in terms of what are you looking for and letting the universe help you find it is so important. If you hadn't had that conversation with your mentor at Working Solutions, right, you wouldn't be here. So that's
Right.
incredible. And so glad you did that. Christina, how about you?
I mean, let's get into it. The way that I got here. So this was going to be, let's travel back to 2025, the end of 2025. And my business actually got one of our, we've gotten bigger, but one of our biggest contracts for a season of a television show for Battle on the Beach, HGTV's Battle on the Beach, season 5. We were asked to come in, revamp it. It was a really fun time, but we were, all of a sudden we have a lot more revenue coming in, which is obviously a good thing, but it's an overwhelming thing, and I'm not a mathematician. And at the exact same time, I was also in the NGLCC's TGX Own It program. I applied and got in. I see that there's 2 NGLCC LGBTBs in here, Alex and Connie. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Again, the community and the web is huge and amazing. And so I was in that program, and they were introducing us to all these other amazing programs like Chase Coach for what is it? Coach Chase Coaching
Coaching.
for
Excellent.
Impact, right? Okay. And that's how I met Pablo, who's here. Hi, Pablo. And so I met with him, like Kahthryn was saying, like, refining business strategy, him giving me the same homework every, twice a time because I'd be so busy with the actual work of it. And finally he was like, "Hey, I heard about this really amazing thing, and I think you really need, a mentor, one-to-one with your finances." And I was like, "Yeah." The only thing he said was this program was in California, but it's worth to reach out. Why not? And so it's really because Pablo that one of the many obviously reasons, because he said reach out. What's the worst that could happen? No. And so I did, and that's how I got here through a lot of amazing people. And so I think I'm the first outside of California for this program, and I'm so proud and grateful for that opportunity. And I think you now in 21 other states. So I'm just so grateful to be a part of this, but it was part of a portion of our growth, as well as me and all these entrepreneur programs that really brought me here.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and I think the trust that you put in, Pablo, for that referral, and then for us to be able to sort of support you as our first, like you said, non-California small business, it was a great learning opportunity for us as well. So thank you for being our guinea pig.
I'll do it
And
again and again,
and
please.
luckily it all worked out. But yeah, we are in 21 states now, and then looking to be in all 50, by the end of the year. So it's been a really fun journey, and grateful that you let us out of California, Christina. Thank you for that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Gail, how about you? What was going on with you when you applied to Launchpad or heard about Launchpad?
Yes. So I'm in a program called La Cocina, who help women, minority business build, expand, and I kept coming to Karen and Emiliana like I need help because I do a lot of community events. I will get checks and, money sent in this way, money sent in that way. And I was confused a lot. And I had dealt with a couple of different accountants, and instead of them teaching me, they was talking out like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I got all this other stuff going on. I couldn't really get the concept of exactly the steps that I needed to take. So
Mhm.
Karen has said, Gail, look, this program is one-on-one mentorship. They should be able to really sit down with you and help you understand, the different strategies to just stand focused and organized with your numbers. So, yes, in order to get to the one-on-one mentorship, just the organizing, because this is my seventh year here and in the business, and I couldn't get it until I came to Launchpad. So I just think La Cocina and Renaissance. Who also mentioned after I got into Launchpad. So thank you, Launchpad, just for keep promoting yourself out there for businesses, because I can share Launchpad as well with the entrepreneurs that I'm connected with. So yes, it was La Cocina, but just knowing the different things on how to stay organizing and the definition of disorganizing and the reconciliation and things like that. Just amazing. A big load off my shoulders.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, we do push you a little bit at the beginning to make sure
Yeah.
that you do your homework and you complete the checklist to be ready for your mentor, because those 4 months with the mentor, I say this all the time, goes by really fast. And we want to make sure you're using that time productively. It's a real gift to have a professional bookkeeper's attention on you for that much time. So we want to make sure you show up prepared, and we're here to support you through all of that, right? So it's really important that when you join the program, that you're really taking advantage of all the support, whether it's drop-in clinics, our WhatsApp group. We provide lots of ways to get support, but it's up to you to take advantage of it. We can't force it. So I'm grateful and excited, Gail, that you took advantage of that, got organized, and went through the program. That's incredible. I'm going to stick with you and ask you our next question. And before I do that, if anyone in the conversation today has questions for any of our entrepreneurs that you want me to ask, please put them in chat. I really want to hear from everyone about in terms of what you're hearing, what you're taking away, any insights, any other resources that might be helpful for our entrepreneurs here as you're hearing their stories. So please, let's keep this active and continue to converse through chat. So Gail, um, since Launchpad, what has been one win, one outcome in your business that you're really proud of? Like, what have and I know there's a lot, it's easy to get bogged down by this is not going right and that's not going right and not moving fast enough. But there's gotta be one thing that you're just like, oh my gosh, I did this. It's amazing. What is that for you?
Oh, since Launchpad, my win is to have I was able to have a better direct conversation with the tax preparer. Like, so I was able to just talking because I have a 9 to 5 and all these different things. It was just better understanding my numbers moving forward and exactly like what entity bracket I need to be in moving forward, what these numbers look like. Before Launchpad, I was just putting my trust in the tax preparer hands and just hoping to not owe. Um, but now I just have an open mind. I have more confidence in knowing exactly, what categorize, I'm in. And so that's a big win for me because the confidence was low before talking to the tax preparer. and just knowing how to separate the files and say in 2024 this was that. And it just, like I said, a big weight off my shoulders, just being confident on knowing that I could last another 7 years, understanding my numbers. Because before talking to different accountants and stuff like that, the confidence wasn't there, just the language wasn't there. So, and I think it was big for Launchpad for us to get organized like that, for me to just keep going and, you know, go through those challenges to get to the mentor. So that's what I needed for myself instead of just being talked to, just going through that way, just built the confidence on me filing my taxes. Yes,
That's incredible.
big
And
win.
are you doing your own books now, or do you have someone helping you? Just your day-to-day
Well,
bookkeeping?
I'm categorizing now, but I will due to health challenges, the finances ain't as big as I would like to hire an accountant right now,
Mhm.
but I'm not as bad as what I came from. Honey child, they all right now. So yes, so yeah, but I'm good. But
Great,
that
great,
my focus is to hire an accountant hopefully by the end of this year.
amazing. And what software are you using? Um, QuickBooks. You're on QuickBooks.
Yes,
Great, amazing. Thank you for sharing.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Christina, do you want to chime in on that question?
Yeah, so what's one win since completing the program? Is that okay? So I'm really, really excited this year. Kind of had a full circle. I don't know if I like that word, but a full circle moment. So we have gotten our largest contract in our company history. And that's not what is so exciting. I mean, it's very exciting. But what's really exciting is that I left a job, an amazing job at Amazon MGM Studios. Could have stayed there, but I left to do this for the reasons that I had explained earlier. And while I was there, obviously, created some really fun, what I think are amazing shows and programming, and that stays with them, and I have to go and kind of forge this new company and new contact. Well, old contacts, but new contacts. And so this year, we have our biggest contract, and it's with my previous employer who I had left to start this company. And we now have a contract for a show that I helped develop while I was there and also cast. It is also the most watched show on HGTV. So it is just so incredible to see the growth. To see the confidence from my previous employers is amazing. And so, betting on yourself and building your own business, and then through, a couple years later, having that company that you worked for come and hire you to do that work is pretty incredible. And so, yeah, we're just that it's a huge win, and it's a huge win because I can employ more people, and I'm also able to pay them at a rate that, I mean, I would love to pay everybody, including myself, more. But that is something comfortable. Because with the consolidation of industries, like we all know, including this one, the rates go down as well as the schedule for delivering things. And as a business owner, it's really hard to reconcile all of that. How do we keep the books, balanced? How do we feed ourselves and our dogs? And how do we, obviously, at the beginning of it all, take care of our employees? And so I think we're trying to balance that, and having this big contract has really helped.
Amazing. Do you have W-2s or 1099s?
W-2s.
W-2s, amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing and congratulations. That's
Thank you
really,
so
really
much.
exciting. And feel free to drop any links you want, any shows you want us to watch that have your talent. We'd love to.
Done
Uh,
and done. I think some of my team members are in here. Are you guys in here? Do you want to say hi really quick? Stephanie, Paul. I mean, I'm putting you guys on the spot, but I've got three of my
Hey,
employees.
Amazing.
we'll drop the link in the chat for everybody.
Yay. Please do.
Thanks,
That's
Jamie.
amazing. Yeah. Kahthryn, how about you? And you want to chime in with a win?
Well, Since Christina mentioned dogs, I've kept my two very large dogs fed all year, so that's good. Um, but honestly, my answer really is really closer to Gayle's. It's really that I feel super prepared for taxes this year.
Mhm.
The difference is I've always done my own taxes, and so I've always wondered if I was doing them even remotely okay. And now I feel much more confident. I feel I have a W-2 job and I have all these income things and I have personal expense. I didn't know what anything was. And because of the program, that's been a big win for me is I feel like I can do my taxes this year by looking at what I've put together and it all makes sense and I feel a lot more confident about it.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Let's look at the flip side of that. As you think about just challenges, setbacks, things that have held you back, or maybe had you pivot towards a different direction with your business, and maybe based on some new information that came out of having a better understanding of your finances. Is there anything that jumps out as just something that you feel comfortable sharing with us today? And more than the actual event or the moment, it's like, what did you take away from that, right? And how are you doing something differently? Kahthryn, do you have thoughts on that?
I do. It's actually kind of tied into what I was just saying. In terms of not feeling confident. More than that, for a long time, I've dealt with money. I think the mistake or the challenge has been that I've dealt with it emotionally. So I can take all these classes and learn the numbers, but when I actually respond, it tends to be very from an emotional place, from a fear of scarcity, from a fear of not knowing, of not being good enough.
Mhm.
Um, Part of that was that I was always kind of scared to show my numbers to anyone. So like part of why I didn't have someone doing my taxes is I didn't want to show my numbers because of all these things, all these emotional things that may or may not be real that are tied up. I think that's some of that's personal family history, but some of that is also just our capitalist society, also women in our society dealing with money. We've been raised with all these different things. So there's all these things that were just making it hard for me to talk openly and honestly about money. And I was nervous. I was nervous the first time I talked to a new in the team with like a mess. And then I was really nervous when I talked to my mentor for the first time. And she was just so calming. She was like, I work with small and big businesses. They're all equally a mess, like it's not you, it's the system. And it's just learning the skills, but then acknowledging that there is this other part of it and kind
Mhm.
of making space for that part of it, without letting it dictate my decisions financially. So
Yeah.
when I was able to, there's that saying about don't compare your insides to other people's outsides. I've learned to not do that so much with money. I've learned to not assume that everyone else knows what they're doing and everyone else is making money and nobody else has debt. I've really come to more internalize, like I'm doing fine. And there's things I could learn, but I'm not coming from some deficit place where I'm wrong. Really just working on that emotional part of it has made me much more capable of really looking at everything a little more honestly and sharing it more honestly with the people in my life who need to know about my money, which just makes it easier to deal with.
Yeah, yeah, that resonates so much, Kahthryn. And I think one of the mantras that Marriott on our team always talks about is how important it is as you're starting this program, to really separate the personal from the business. And sometimes she's talking about the money part of it, but sometimes it's also the human side of it, right? The emotional side of it. And how do you really treat this as something that you're starting from the ground up. Everyone, has the same level playing field, and really, it's your some of it is luck, but a lot of it is just methodical and consistent resilience, right? To keep learning with every iteration, with every pivot, and keep going because and sort of keep the personal sort of emotional part of it separate. It's really hard to do that, but
It's
it's Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just would like to jump in with that because it's so important to separate that. And also as a small business owner, I am my business
Yeah,
in
yeah.
so many ways. And so that has been a really hard part for me. And even just the practical part of looking at of really having my mentor explain to me, okay, when this money comes in, it's you. When this money comes in, it's the business. When
Yeah.
this money goes out, that's, when you pay your medical bill, that's confusing because that's you as an individual, but there is a part of your taxes you can write off. And she just really broke it down and it really helped me at a deeper level understand me versus my business,
Mhm.
not just in money. Like we looked at it through money, but yeah, it's hard to separate and there's so many ways to learn how to do it. Yeah.
Thank you. Christina, any
My
thoughts on
gosh.
that?
So much of that I resonate with. Before I even get onto my own thing, I don't know, a few of you know this, but I'm a multi-generation. I don't think it's four or five, more probably more generation of entrepreneurs. I'm a business school dropout, left for film school. I hope that I don't have a huge ego about a lot of things, but I think that's one thing that is it's kind of it's a nerve for me, you know. I feel like I should have it all figured out. Um, and I know I shouldn't, but I just grew up in that environment, and if I don't have it figured out, like it's what you said just hit so close to home to me because it's the one my money is the one thing that I think that I should have completely figured out, and it's the one thing that I don't. I mean, not just the one. But yeah, so getting back to like setbacks and mistakes, I think the biggest one, I think both my mentor at Disability Inn and my mentor here, Angie Garner, who's amazing, will tell you is that the biggest mistake is my business is very personal. It's very relationship driven. And if I see a great opportunity, I want to take it. And doesn't really, in my heart, matter about the money. I mean, it does, but it's like, I
Mhm.
don't, okay, we'll make some. Do we have to, not that we're breaking even or losing money, but like, okay, we'll payroll and what's coming in, it seems to be fine. But I realize I'm not accounting for my own time. I don't know how much every single part of the project, of my day, of my employees' days is worth. I do
Mhm.
not have it broken down on that level. So I'm taking projects because I am like, well, this will lead to the next great thing, and this will lead to the next great thing. What I've learned is that no relationship becomes more valuable than a solid financial decision.
Mhm.
And that's what I have to keep telling myself. And it's some mistake that I keep making. And I fear that it's something that I will be battling my entire career because if somebody comes to me with, a nonprofit with a documentary about breast cancer, I'm immediately going to say yes. And my mentors are immediately going to say, well, how did the numbers break down? And I need to start thinking a little bit more like that, or at least come to the center of it. So my biggest setback and mistakes are when I value relationships over my financial security. And it's never really worked out. I can't think of a time where, I left with a bad taste in my mouth because the money wasn't there and I was overworking, and then it led to more work because nobody feels good in that position. So I'm starting to learn that I've got to figure out my numbers.
Can I jump
Yeah.
in really quick and say that's another thing that women are socialized to do is we put our relationships first, and there's great things about that. But when it comes to business, it shows up. I don't see that showing up in the same way for the male entrepreneurs that I know. We're working on
Well,
it,
I guess
right?
we'll have to ask them.
If there are any in the audience, please chime in and
Yes,
chat. We'd love
please.
to hear your perspective. And again, thank you for sharing so authentically. It's just exactly what I was hoping for. Is like keeping it real, right? Because this is your experience. This is what you're going through, and I think just talking about it sometimes is just helpful in processing what's happening.
My mentor would be like, I would show her some numbers and she'd be like, "You think you made money on this?" I'm like, "Yeah, why wouldn't you think I made money on like
Mhm.
I sounded so stupid."
It's all a learning journey, right?
Yes.
It's good. Thank you. Gail, how about you? Any setback or
I'm right,
challenge you want to talk through?
Christina, Kahthryn, the same thing. I just recently on my birthday, which was August 15th, I do a lot of community events, and due to the budget cuts, a lot of allegedly fraud in the Black community. It was hard for me to not take on a back to school community event. And so this was my biggest challenge. And when I tell you prayer do work, Christina, it's the same thing. I chose community over finance. It's more passion than pay. And you think you all right, and um, a volunteer was supposed to bring waters and things to that. So I end up giving more of my business product out because it was hot and nobody had nothing to drink. So it was just one of those. So that's the challenge, knowing that your business, or, a big percentage, are you serving, a certain demographic, but the numbers not coming in. But you pivot. I am introducing a new product on my business to try to make up for me doing community events. So that's just the challenge. But you have to really, really love what you do in order to just get up and say, this happened, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to move forward. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to ask this other organization what they have to offer. And that's the biggest thing. Like, you have to love what you do, and you have to keep asking questions and just not being afraid to take on the challenges, because even if you're not doing a business, you're going to have challenges. That's just what it is. So I rather have the challenge in doing what I love to do, because that's the biggest payoff, like emotionally and everything else, that you took a chance on you loved you, and you doing what your heart telling you to do. And it was a win. It was a big success, the event. So I'm glad a lot of people didn't expect it came out. And so that was my highlight.
My gosh.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known about the birthday. I would have brought a cake.
I had too much sweets. My doctor gonna kill me. No, 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 no.
Amazing.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
sharing.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
Yeah.
thank you.
Wow. Great. Well, I'm going to bring us back to our uh, final sort of thoughts as we go around the room here. And again, if anyone has questions or insights or just thoughts, please put them in chat. Would love to hear from you. Um, I'm going to have Christina lead this next question that I have, which is what has shifted? What has changed since you wrapped up with your mentor at LaunchPad? Like, what are you doing differently? We talked about the tax accountant stories, which were great, but
Sure.
like, what else? Like, what's going on for you that feels like this is a really different way of being and running my business?
Um, so first off, more money, more problems. Biggie was right. That is 100% true. My second part is you're gonna have to excuse me because I wrote some notes, because these are things that I'm doing new and differently. So they're new and different. So they're not
Yeah.
100% up here. So after I finished this incredible program, my mentorship with Angie Garner with Alpha Business Solutions, check her out. I think she might be here. She's amazing. And so after I ended the program, I obviously took more control of my finances. I started in QuickBooks. Thank you so much. With the generous grant, we've been able to get QuickBooks and actually upgrade in the small amount of time that we've had it. I've needed to upgrade our systems. But what has changed is a lot. So one, we have hired Angie now as our bookkeeper, and that is because after I finished the program, I was in a mentorship with Disability In, which is one of the business associations that I'm a part of. And she, I like to say, has slapped me with so much truth. I'm like, I give her a new cheek every time that I meet with her. She loves to just, let me have it, and I need to hear it. She says it in such a great way. But she basically, she was like, great. You know how to reconcile your books. You've got a system down. She's like, but do you know your revenue? Do you know your net profits? Do you know your cash available? Do you know outstanding accounts receivable, estimated tax savings? Hallelujah, we're an S corp now. Do you know all of that? Do you know, like I said before, can you break down everybody on your team's what every hour is worth, what, using this app is worth, all of these things. And I just looked at Doris completely blank and I was like, no, like, well, we're making money. And she was like, you need to really sit down, start breaking these up in projects in QuickBooks, which I'm now learning and doing. And Angie is now helping me to find out all of those numbers, make sure that I have the basic numbers, I have the advanced numbers, so that I can make the decisions on which projects are worth it. And I can take on the projects that maybe I am going to take a hit, but I want to do it, and I won't feel that ashy taste in my mouth afterwards of like, why did I do this? And now I feel sick afterwards. I've run myself ragged. We didn't make money. I can say, great, we made X amount on project A, so now I can take a little bit of a hit on project B because it's, part of my philanthropy work and community work that I really want to do. And it's not making me feel bad about everything. And I can have a real understanding of what I'm doing and not just, emotionally shooting from the hip. Um, so I think that's one thing that we're changing is really working on those numbers. And now it's a real long game for me because, it's amazing that I have employees, but doing a lot of the work myself, running the business is also work. Getting the numbers, all of this stuff takes time. And I'm realizing, yes, I have as many hours as Beyonce in a day, but Beyonce has a way bigger team than I do. And so I just try to remind myself that. So yeah, I think the breakdown is I'm trying to figure out if a 30,000 project is actually a 30,000 opportunity or a $40,000, problem, kind of a headache and a hit. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm really excited, but I'm really scared.
Congratulations. And also on just, hiring Angie. I mean, that's something that, we always hope that that's the outcome that'll come out of the program. I mean, we don't require it, but if you've built a good relationship with your mentor and it feels like the right person to support you as you move forward, whenever that timing is right for you, right? It might be right away. It might be
It
years
wasn't.
later.
Yeah. It was when my other mentor told me, said you great job, but you've learned so much from Angie and you needed this, but you need a lot more and you can't do, like I said, the slap on the cheek. And when she said that, I was like, I know the exact right person to call. Somebody I actually trust with my books, with my numbers that I can be vulnerable with. I can say the things that I don't want to tell other people, that I don't want to tell myself. And so that's why I think that the web is really important because you're going to be working with different people. They're going to suggest or strongly suggest that you do certain things. And while, grateful that we have a little bit of money set aside that we can do a little bit of that, you don't always. So in the beginning, when I finished this mentorship, like you said, I wasn't going to hire Angie. I was going to keep in touch with her. We're going to be good friends, But it was awesome because I already had a foundation. Launchpad already gave me that foundation that I could build off of. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you for sharing that. Kahthryn, how about you? Anything you're doing differently since the program?
Mine's actually honestly exactly the same. It's taught me to track my time and not just my income. So I was doing a lot of when I sell a book, well, okay, but how many hours go into writing the book and promoting the book? And so I'm not using QuickBooks, but I'm using Claude in a very similar way. So I'm using projects there. So I'm setting up projects and tracking my time. And Dina's not in here, my mentor, but I think I might have actually given her something different because she's interested in the AI stuff and very knowledgeable about it, but hadn't done a lot with Claude prompts. And I think Claude is actually what QuickBooks is working on now. But we worked together. So I showed her my system and she helped me refine it and we refined our prompts together. And so I have everything set up. And so now I actually track my time during the day and then I put it into Claude and I say, okay, where'd my time go? And then Claude very bluntly tells me, you made no money and used all this time and it's not going anywhere. But it's the same thing. It's learning to track that a little bit better and to pay myself it, what I'm worth, or at least what I can at this point, and then take that into consideration each time that I take on something new.
Amazing. And is your plan to, so you've sort of gotten into AI and you're figuring this out as you go. Are you taking classes? Like, how are you learning how to do all this? Just figuring it
Um,
out?
just figuring it out. I don't know, I tend to be pretty comfortable with tech. I started doing a lot of stuff with Claude prompts a couple years ago. I do some work in the mental health space, and so I've taken some classes and just talked to a lot of people about like the ethics of that and how that works, and kind
Mhm.
of applying that to what I know about finances and what I do and don't want to put in there and stuff. So it's I'm figuring it out myself with asking questions to people in my network.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing. Gail, how about you?
Just for me, just not being scared to apply for like off the grid organizations because I knew I was all over the place with my numbers. I didn't want to take on nothing else with numbers and having to figure it out and stuff like that. So, like I said, I have a better confidence and, understanding on exactly what to do what. So, um, I like that about me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. That's really, really important. And I think also just realizing that this is an ongoing journey, right? Like your needs for this year are going to look slightly different than your needs for next year. And so as you're growing, as you're learning, as you're adjusting, continue to build that web of support. And again, you don't want it to be so big that you spend all your time managing it, but just thinking about the right people to bring in at the right time. I think of it almost like a board of advisors, right? Like every big company, corporate company has a board of advisors. So what is that version for you? And it might change over time, but being really comfortable with, yes, I can do this on my own and I need support. It's an and, right? And building that confidence with others supporting you, lifting you up. It can make such a difference if you can get that support. And again, even figuring out what support you need, like you don't have to figure that out on your own, right? You can reach out and ask a question, and someone will probably have some insights that would be beneficial to you. So, on that note, I'd love to wrap up with just this is a question that I haven't mentioned before, but I just love to understand, just spontaneously from each of you, Christina, Kahthryn, and Gail, what if for an entrepreneur who is just starting on their journey, right, starting their business, maybe still dreaming about it, or maybe they started to experiment and they're seeing some early traction, what advice would you have for them as they're getting going with their business? Maybe 5 years, like, think of them at being 5 years, like when you were 5 years ago. What would you have done differently, or what advice would you have for someone who's just starting off?
I'll
And I'll
take
let
it.
each of you chime in based on as you think of stuff.
Well, the people that ask me, I tell them to start with Renaissance because they have different classes um, on pretty much everything, starting a food business, knowing your entity. What does a business license look like? They got all these different classes and just use your time to take those classes and then you can build from there. I started after. I did my business, established my business. Then I started taking Renaissance because I didn't know about it. But just taking those classes, um, it built. And then for me being in the food business, going with La Cocina, amazing program, and then you can't give up. You got to trust you. You have to trust you. And I was told if you don't ask a question, then that's when it's a stupid question to you because you didn't ask. So, yeah, that's my biggest advice.
Wonderful. That is really wise. Thank you.
I can go if you want. I think I two things just pop into my head immediately. One would be find your community, whatever that looks like. For me, there's four groups, four communities that I'm really active in, and I find, um, I give as much as I get, or I get whatever the saying is. I need more Diet Coke. But the NGLCC, like I said before, I see some of my fellow NGLCC people on here. I just got back from San Diego at an amazing conference. Um, Disability in. I'm a disabled business owner as well as a queer business owner, and having a community who understands me on that level, and I understand them. I'm almost part of the CSA, Casting Society. So when it comes to all things casting, we can really help each other. They're actually going to be help supporting and sponsoring, it looks like, a New York Trans Film Festival, as well as Trans Celebration Weekend, which I help co-direct. And I booked the first openly out trans man casting professional on Broadway. So really, really exciting stuff. Television Academy, I'm part of that, and both a few of the groups there. All of that to say is you don't have to join everything, but you do need to join something, and you need to be active participant. You need to give. It's not about getting, it's really about giving. I think of those communities as writers' rooms for me, because that's just my language. It's not a marketplace. I'm not looking for contracts in any of these places, especially Chamber of Commerce. Sounds like you're going there for contracts. You're really going there for community, for new ideas, for throwing things together, for working together on new things, but not for contracts. And the other thing is something that maybe somebody will disagree with me on, but as you're building, and sometimes that means faster than you're ready for, but you kind of have to do it. You only learn by making mistakes, and they are going to suck big time, and you're going to hate it, and you're going to be upset at yourself, you're going to be upset at others, you're going to be thinking about them still. But it's really the only way that you're going to learn if you're growing at a certain pace. It's going to be different for everybody, but I've had to come to a realization that mistakes are just a part of the learning. Maybe not a lot though, please. I'd like less.
Amazing.
Smaller lessons, please.
Yeah, bite-sized. Thank you, Christina. Kahthryn.
Well, first I'll echo all of that. The communities, whether that is, your peer communities or taking classes from places, there are a lot of amazing business and also like industry specific things here in the Bay Area that are free. You have to look for them and ask people about them, but Renaissance is one of them, the Small Business Associate. There's just so many. And echoing what Christina said about you have to participate in it. And I'd add to that, don't underestimate your value. Like if you're in a group, you're bringing value to that group in some way.
Mhm.
You belong in the room too. So whoever you are and whatever you're bringing. So yeah, networking isn't just what can I extract from, but I'm bringing something and I want to share that with you too.
Wonderful.
Echoing all that, and then the other thing I would say that wasn't brought up is more of a coming from like my psychology therapy background is really as you're beginning, check in with yourself often. Take the time to really ask yourself, why am I doing this? And really drill down because that'll help you make all the decisions that come if you really know why you're doing it at a core level. And then on the flip side of that, also knowing what you need to keep going. I need sleep. I need a support system of certain things. I mean, really basic things, but knowing them and like for myself, having an actual list where when I'm down and I don't want to do the work, I can go, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm doing it because of this. This is my mission. and here's what I need to be able to be an okay person to do this business. Because running a business is hard. It's not, it's very rewarding, but it can be very hard. So that's where I would add to that.
I'm going to leave it right there. I have nothing to add to those words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom. I just want to say thank you so much to each of you, Christina, Kahthryn, and Gayle, for being so generous with your time, with your thoughts today, with just sharing from your heart. We are so excited and grateful to have you in our community. And, we're looking forward to supporting you in other areas of your business as Launchpad continues to grow. So don't go anywhere. And yeah, keep sharing the news about your businesses, how it's going. We've got our WhatsApp group where we're always happy to get links and pictures and updates, so we can keep cheering you on. Tell your friends about us. And apologies for the technical error with the link. Thank you, Joyce, for correcting us. So the right link should be in the chat now. If anyone's interested, or if you want to pass it along to a friend, we are growing. We would love to get applications from across the country, both entrepreneurs and mentors. And I see some of our mentors in the chat as well. So if you have anyone that you think would benefit from the program, we would love to talk to them and get them engaged. And the last thing I'll say is that this was the first inaugural conversation for Real Talk. So I want to just hear from everyone. How did this go? Was this helpful? Put it in chat. Should we do it again? I'd love to hear some feedback. And I'm going to take away the spotlight so I can see everyone. If anyone has any thoughts, any questions for our group, we're out of time, but for anyone who wants to stay on, we're happy to stick around for a few minutes. And even if you have questions about Launchpad, I'm happy to stay and answer those as well.
Well, I just want to say thanks once again for having me. It's always a pleasure. Anytime Launchpad need me, I would love to show up. So thank you and hi to everybody. You can always reach out to me, the G's Freeze 415 at Gmail if you want to know anything about the food truck business, ice cream, anything in that field. I'm happy to share and look forward to seeing everyone.
Great. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Gayle.
Okay, I gotta go to a next meeting. Take care.
Thank you. Happy
Thank you
birthday.
so much, everyone. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. It's so good to have you with us and look forward to seeing you soon again.
Yes. Same.
Thank
I'll
you,
echo,
and
I'll
bye.
echo the thank yous to everyone really quick, and just say that as a participant, it was really useful to me to hear the similarities in our experiences. I just think that's always a helpful thing to bring community together in that way.
Thanks for sharing, Kahthryn. Pablo,
Yeah.
were you saying something?
No, I was just saying that, yeah, thank you for having a space for you entrepreneurs to talk about their experience. I think that for entrepreneurs that are joining to try to figure out whether it's a good fit or not for them, I think that this becomes super, super helpful. And also, just congratulations to the three of you. Well, one of you guys left on the businesses, right? I think that it is not easy to have a business. It requires a lot of determination, hard work. So I really applaud you for following your dream.
Yeah.
So best wishes to the three of you or two of you now, and yeah, congrats again.
Pablo,
Yeah.
you're the best. Thank you so much. You've been such an amazing part. I'm so glad that you've been part of my journey and for linking me with this incredible organization. I like literally remember our Zoom and you were like,
Yeah,
you should look into this.
yeah.
Oh,
It's like, what's the worst that can happen, right? They can say no, or they can say yes. It's
That's
you never
exactly what
know
you
until you
said.
ask.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Amazing. And
now,
we're so grateful for you, Pablo, and just everything you're doing with Coaching for Impact, your
mhm,
wonderful team. We are, again, it takes all of us to come
mhm.
together to make this possible. And we're so excited that you found us.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to a lot more shared collaboration going forward.
Great. And now we also have a show to watch.
Yes, we do
So
have a show to watch and many
mm,
more to come.
many more to come. That's right.
Exactly.
Yay.
Yay.
And if
All right.
anyone has any
See
talent,
you.
acting talent, Christina might cast you.
Yes, please listen. This is the web I'm talking about. You have no idea.
Amazing.
Comes from everywhere.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Thanks for coming.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.